good with the people in the cyber world? Welcome to the first edition of In the Basement with Chuck. I'm your host, Chuck Chisel, and today I'm excited to bring to you one of my favorite people in the world. He's a graphic designer, he's a fashion enthusiast, car enthusiast, and motorcycle enthusiast, and he's an overall good dude. I would like to welcome you, the creator and owner of Untitled Apparel, Sean James.
Glad to be here, man. I'm so happy and appreciative that I get to be the first episode to your whole In the Basement with Chuck. So excited.
Man, I appreciate that you took time out to come down here in the basement, man. We are in my basement, and this is real deal Holyfield.
Yeah, and y'all got to be here to see it and be in the energy of this, because this is amazing.
Hey, so let's get off into it. All right, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you from, and how you got started.
Oh man, so I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible. So, born and raised in Kenner, Louisiana. So that's a little small town suburb of New Orleans. Pretty much, just rural, small town. Had great family environment. Down overall country boy, but eventually wind up going to high school in New Orleans. Embraced the whole culture of New Orleans and just the whole Southern lifestyle. At some point, eventually, art was always a part of my life as a young child. So I pursued art from age 5 until now. But the journey was hard as hell for me. So, but with that, was blessed to be around people at the right time. So coming from high school, I had peers that supported my artistic endeavors. Ambition of clothing for me was always inspired by the FUBU and the Helly Hands and just that, I guess, the urban culture of
Word.
So, but it wasn't until I got to college where I felt like I actually could create that. It was always a dream up until that point. So when I got to college here in St. Paul, and at that point is when I realized, the bit kind of started understanding the business side of things.
Right.
And from there, the art and graphics kind of just melded, because art was always a therapy for me. So it was a part of my life. So as a young child from 5, it was my coping mechanism. So again, great to have friends that nurtured that. So high school, kept it going. College,
Right,
was definitely the trying period, because I was questioning my abilities at that time.
right.
But again, so I'm sorry, getting off topic here.
Oh no, man, you on point.
So with that, we got into the right positions. People encouraged me to pursue the art, but at the time I didn't know if I wanted to be an artist or what kind of artist. So someone suggested that I should try graphic design, and that was the runway that I needed. So once I found the space to create and the opportunity, everything fell in place. I fell into the video game world, but my love for fashion was always there, and it was back in high school, because if you're from New Orleans, if you ain't on point, you're getting talked about. So
that's universal.
Right. black culture,
Yeah.
But with that, I was also blessed to have older heads that kind of blessed me with the information about what good fashion is. So I had a good foundation.
So you being from New Orleans and coming to Minnesota, I know that was a big culture shock. Look, I know from the food, the music, the people, man, please.
Yes, no, that all true, my brother, all true. So food was definitely the number one thing. The people, only in the aspect of back in New Orleans, we hug and we kiss each other as a form of greeting, among families and friends. So coming here, that disconnect was always hard for me, but one that I started to understand more when I realized the culture of where I was at. But
right.
It wasn't to say it was void of the same affection that exists in New Orleans. It just was in a different way.
Right.
But other than that, once I got used to that, everything, kind of blended and fell in place.
Now, this might be a tricky question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway, because there's no questions that are off limit here at In the Basement with Chuck. Where do you draw your inspiration from?
My brother, man. So I have to, like just me being who I am, I have to say that inspiration comes from God.
Word.
But the other major components is like my friend network, the people that I have in my circle, so my family and brothers like you, people that have creative energies that I get to see and have that inspire me. And it's even like just even friends who aren't artistic that are kind of like my counselors or my guides, so it's like people I can count on, and that network is like, that's my heart. Like that's the true source of my creativity.
I've been knowing you close to 12 years now. You're not the man for too many words, but when you put a pen in your hand or you put something in front of you, man, you sketch up some of the illest drawings I've seen. And on top of this, shameless plug, I'm wearing a Untitled shirt, polo shirt. Yeah, man, I'm looking real good in this, man. I need about 5 more just on GP that I can rock this every day. Hint, hint.
It's happening. Trust me, it's coming.
So with everything going on in the world, pandemic-wise, COVID, Rona, flu Rona, Omicron, however you say the shit, right? What has been one of your ways to keep your skills sharp?
Man, believe it or not, man, giving myself permission to disconnect, like, to really say, like, man, you don't have to do anything creative. That was the hardest thing, but a blessing through the pandemic. So for me, that's definitely was the thing. It was like the permission to say, like, you know what, it's okay to, be in the moment and experience life without like creating.
Right. My biggest problem was disconnecting and then going back out in the world. That has been, me, I'm a social butterfly. I'm gonna run my mouth. I'm gonna chop it up, conversation, rule the nation, squeaky wheel, get the oil. That's me all day. And I went outside, man. It was like, I'm going back in the house. I'll see y'all tomorrow. That's been one of my hardest things, is to reconnect, with the things that I used to be connected with. And maybe it's just not meant for me to connect with that no more.
Nah, bro. And so this is where we kind of balance each other out, because, like I said, that's the other thing for me is like my friends, they are in like they provide balance for me. So like I'm, like you say, naturally just an introvert. So me not going out in public, I'm okay.
Right.
But when I'm out around the right people, like right now, you can get me going and I won't stop. But but with that, I do feel you on the aspect of like going out into the world now. It's a whole different vibe, man. Like, like
I'm Michelin J. Frog with it, Around people, hello, my darling, hello, my baby, hello, my darling. And when I get around certain people, I give them the Bobby Brown lips.
Get the booting them out.
Man, I got all these questions for you.
Yes, sir.
And I have a question. I know that we talk about music, life, and culture and all. What is your take on the state of the culture as far as hip hop, R&B, and overall just the culture period?
Wow, man, yeah. So this question is, hold on, I'm gonna give you something. So in my mind, how I'm looking at how I feel about when I heard the question, how I'm feeling, the response to that question is that hip hop for me was, I guess we kind of came in like when hip hop was like the birth stage,
right?
So or at least in the early stages of it, and at that time for me personally, I felt like it was defining itself. So we got to witness the whole definition of like what we created, that definition of hip hop. Now, as we kind of got into this maturity state or this maturity where it's not just for us, it's for our kids and another generation. So with that, kind of giving permission to like seeing what they can do with it, but not, being totally, disrespectful or saying like, something that's going to offend anybody's sensibilities. I do feel that there's a lost, I guess, craft, like the artistry to the culture of it. But I'm going to take that back because thanks to you, I get to witness and hear some of this talent that's out there that's actually imbued with the culture. So it's like they're in touch with the culture. So it gives me hope the culture. So everything is fine. You know, it's just that, you know, again, I have to remind myself that I'm at an age where, like, you know, my taste is not the same as other people. So.
What I know what they're trying to do with hip hop now is name it contemporary hip hop and R&B. And that's almost like saying grown folks hip hop. You know, I can give, you know, I'm not with the tight jeans and the anime haircuts and hairdos and cartoon character styles. That's this generation. I would never diss it. Right. Just not for me.
Exactly. And that's my sentiment.
Yeah.
That's my sentiment.
And you have to go digging for the music now. I mean, man, it's like you have to dig deep. You have to go on these internet websites and you might spend 4 hours and come out with something that just one song that relates to you.
But you know the irony to that is that's like the digging in the crates, you know, like for us with the records. It's like, you know, we literally had to go and find the, you know, the beats, at least for the people who were creating the music of hip hop.
Right.
Had to actually find the music to create the music. So now it's like we looking for the artists in that capacity. So
and you know, it's a lot of emo music, man. We'll touch on that a little bit, but we can sit up here and make a 3-hour conversation just on music alone.
Indeed.
So, okay, I'm gonna ask you this question, and you don't have to put too much thought into it.
All right.
What are your 5 favorite go-to albums, CDs, MP3 files, whatever?
All right, so music, this is a hard question, but this music for me is like the other big inspiration to my creativity. But so if I have to say 5 go-to, and this spans kind of the breadth of my, you know, experience with music. So I'm gonna go with J Electronica, A Written Testimony. We're gonna go Jay-Z 444 album. Okay. I'm gonna go with Keith Murray. What's the album in?
The Most Beautiful.
Most Beautiful Thing. That whatever that album was, that was like the life of me. Bob Marley is definitely gonna be like, you know, and I can't even say a particular album. So unfortunately, I'm going to say a whole anthology of like whatever his music is.
Word.
Hey, Bob. And last but not least, I have to say it's got to be Frankie Beverly and Maze, just because no matter where I'm at in the world, if you put that any song from Frankie Beverly, it's going to connect me back to home, which is another source of my creativity. It's like feeling whatever memories and pleasures that I had back home. So.
Yeah, my favorite, I gotta say, man, my favorite Frankie Beverly and Maze song is Happy Feelings.
Oh, bruh, all day.
I mean, he got jams out this world, but for a brother like Chuck, Happy Feelings are in the air.
Man, look, man, almost like the universal barbecue song, and that's the other reason why I kind of like it, is that it transcends, you know, regional areas. So like from California, New Orleans, Atlanta, like here. You know, you put that song on, people gonna connect to it.
With all the clothing lines that are out here right now, and there's a lot of them. You know, there's some pretty good ones, and there's some that are pretty, you know, on their way. You know, where do you see Untitled Apparel in the near future?
So right now, I'm gonna be honest. Like, you know, I think, you know, as far as the brand itself is finding itself, and I will say that in 5 years, that it definitely will have more of a identity for itself. And the reason why I say it's finding itself is that I'm an artist, so I'm always evolving, and I'm also like, you know, in tune, or trying to be in tune with the people that's, you know, connected to the brand. So.
Word. Would you ever consider teaching?
Oh yeah, most definitely. So believe it or not, bro, I actually want to be a teacher.
Okay.
So in college, I actually, you know, thought about, you know, getting into the field of education. Unfortunately, as most people stop doing things, you experience some kind of trauma.
Yeah.
And at a young age, I had the unfortunate event of kind of meeting a parent that was at a stage in their life that probably I wasn't prepared for their response. But again, no, I would love to teach. And actually, I've tried to do it in some capacity over the last few years. It just never sustained itself. But definitely feel like I don't think I'm serving my life unless I am able to impart some knowledge.
For those that are coming up in the world, that are chasing and pursuing their dreams, and more than chasing, but trying to manifest their dreams, what advice would you give them?
Man, the most important thing is to always know that anything worth chasing is not going to be easy, and it is
Never.
never. And I'm going to say it. There are, I guess, moments or situations for certain people where it is easy, but in most cases, at least I want to say, the preparation for things not being easy is the mindset to have, and just stick with it. Like all I can say, man, is like, you know, this clothing line is 10 years, and so it's work, you know, it's work and grind.
Look, I can say this: I like the fit of the clothing, I like the style, I like the design, and I like where it's heading. Any positive, inspirational words that you want to give the people?
Yeah. Oh man. Just, you know, like, yeah. If for me, I want to see people like push past their limitations, and I am constantly doing that as an individual. I'm overcoming my fears on a daily basis, you know, and being around people. So I guess my thing is, like, the motto for the clothing line is daring to live every day. So if you can do that, that's the best advice I can say, is like truly put every intention into daring to live every day.
Hold up, man. Let me hit you off with this real quick, bro. It's poetry moment right here.
Right.
Hey, give us all your website, social media tags, websites to purchase. Ooh. Man, shameless plug moment, man. Get it in.
So we're gonna go. So make it real easy for you.
Boom.
At Untitled Apparel will get you Facebook, it will get you Instagram, it will get you Twitter, and that's DOTADO Apparel, APPAREL. And if you want to get to the website, it's www. Or we're just gonna drop the www because that's real old shit there.
Right.
So
okay.
We're gonna go UntitledApparel.com. So
we're gonna drop the www and we're gonna get right to it.
Yeah,
all that will appear somewhere up in here.
Yeah,
right here, up there, somewhere right there, man. Any questions you got for me real quick?
Man, so who's next?
That is a good question. You're going to have to stick around and get down with the fine sounds of Chisel Brown. You know what I'm talking about, baby?
I suggest y'all come back and find out.
Look, more exciting stuff to come right here within the basement. In the basement with Chuck. That's still a tongue twister for me, man. I'm gonna get it right though.
You're gonna get it right.
Hey, if y'all have any special interviews, the people that y'all want me to link with, please hit me up at inthebasementwithchuck@gmail.com. You know, man, we low budget right now. We gonna get it right and tight.
We getting that, dog.
You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? My name is Lindy, and if I ain't got none, it ain't in there. Look, stick around to get down. It's Chuck Chisel with In the Basement with Chuck. We'll be right back.
Yes, sir.